Hello learners, welcome to this session. This session is primarily on text pre-processing, which is a very important stage in text mining. In the earlier sessions, this is the 18th session in a queue that we are covering the MCS 221 data warehousing and data mining, and we are concentrating on unit 12. So earlier we had seen the introductory topics on text mining, and today we will see an important stage in the text mining, that is the text pre-processing. So in order to recap, let us see what exactly is the text mining. Text mining can be defined as the process of transforming unstructured text into a structured format to identify meaningful patterns and insights. So this was the definition of the text mining, and here this is the part of data mining wherein which till now we were seeing the data mining using some numbers or numerics. In this particular session, let us see how to do mining using the text, that is for the natural language processing. In the text mining also we will be learning how to find the patterns, how to see the insights which were not seen earlier in the previous mining technique. So this particular diagram picturizes you the complete stage or complete cycle of the process of text mining. So we are starting with the first stage today, that is the text pre-processing. What are the techniques those are available in the text mining, how to do them? Along with the examples, let us study the text pre-processing. So where this particular text pre-processing is useful, text data normally derived, whatever the text data that is derived from the natural language that we speak is in an unstructured and in the noisy format. So in order to reduce the noises in the data, we had seen already what kind of pre-processing techniques that we were using in the like the numbers, data and other kinds of things. However, when it comes to the text, how to reduce the noise in the text that is being derived whenever we speak or whenever we hear to the natural language. So text pre-processing is a critical step in order to transform the noise unstructured text data into a format that can be effectively used to train machine learning models, leading to better results and the insights. So this is the significance of the text pre-processing. As and when we get the text data, it may not be in the usable format. However, after the pre-processing and after the transformation is done, then it is ready for the text miners to mine the insights. So text pre-processing refers to a series of techniques. So we will learn all those techniques, how to clean, what kind of things we have to clean, and what kind of techniques are available in order to clean, transform and prepare the raw textual data into a format that is suitable for natural language processing or text mining or machine learning tasks. So that particular thing we will see. Ultimately, the goal of this particular text pre-processing is to make it readable, or else to enhance the quality and usability of the text data which is in the noisy form for the subsequent analysis or modeling, or else in order to find the insights from the text. So that is the basic goal, to make this particular stage a kind of prominent stage in the overall life cycle of the text mining. So let us see what are the commonly available techniques or else the steps that one needs to follow whenever we think of the text pre-processing. The first technique that we will be learning is the lower casing, removal of punctuations, removal of stop words, removal of the rare words. Stemming is one particular technique, lemmatization is another technique, removal of emojis, removal of emotions, conversion of emoji icons into words, and then conversion of emojis into words. Likewise, there are several steps that one needs to follow whenever we have the raw data in place, raw text data in place, and want to take out some sort of value from the text data. So let us concentrate on the first step, what we have to do. Lower casing is nothing but the words may be having various kinds of case, like the lowercase or the upper words will be embedded with lowercase or uppercase. However, you can see the example that is quoted over here. Text is the simple example that we had taken, and then in the first instance it is completely a kind of it is having a lowercase kind of construct. Otherwise, in the second construct you can see the word is starting with the uppercase, and then rest of the alphabets are the lowercase. And then you can see the third instance, it is having the completely an uppercase letters forming the complete word. So here in the lowercasing kind of technique, what the technique that we'll be following is we'll be completely converting the whole words into the lower cases. So whatever the case may be, whatever the case that is existing in the word, we will be totally converting the whole cases uppercase. Either it may be in the uppercase, lowercase, whatever the context it is, the whole things will be converted into the lowercase. So this particular thing is more helpful for text featureization techniques like frequency, TF-IDF, that is text frequency, as it helps to combine the same words together, thereby reducing the duplication and getting the correct counts of the TF-IDF. We will be seeing the frequency, like how many times the text word is appearing in the complete document. So in order to find that particular thing, uniform format, that is the lowercase format, will be very much helpful in order to count the values of the TF-IDF. And then there is another technique called as the removal of the punctuations. So this particular thing once again is a standardization process that will be helping you to treat, you can see the complete word hooray, and then there is hooray and then an exclamatory mark is present over there. So this particular technique of pre-processing removes the complete punctuations. Whatever the case may be, either it may be a comma, exclamatory mark, full stop, whatever the case may be, it completely removes the exclamatory marks so that all the words which means the same will be identically in the same fashion. We also need to carefully choose the list of punctuations to exclude depending on the use case. Sometimes it may be helpful to put the commas as they are in as is position. Otherwise, you have to select what kind of punctuations are to be removed, and those particular punctuations only needs to be removed whenever we are doing the processing technique called as the removal of the punctuations. Then there is another process, we call it as the normalization. All these things comes under the normalization techniques. Either you may talk about the stop words, you may talk about the removal of the punctuations, removal, or else changing the whole thing into the context of lowercase. All these things comes under the process called as the normalization. So stop words are commonly occurring words in a complete document, and there is a whole list of words that is given over here. I'll be showing the slide. They can be removed from the text most of the times as they don't provide valuable information whenever we are doing the analysis part on the text document. So in such cases, like whenever we concentrate or focus on the parts of speech, then only we should not remove them as they provide very valuable information. Otherwise, if we are not taking the focus on the parts of speech, then we can remove the stop words and then we can proceed on to the analysis. Let us see, these are the list of commonly words which we may be removing whenever we are doing the kind of text pre-processing kind of thing. So there, few, was not, has, is, am, I, all these things, there is a huge list of stop words we'll be having in the if you take the case of the Python programming, whenever you implement the remove of these stop words, there is a kind of toolkit available, NLTK, Natural Language Toolkit is available as a library. So using that particular thing, the whole list, whatever that is present over there. So if you pass on the data to this particular removal of passwords, a simple program that we can write, so that it will remove all these particular stop words, and then it will give you the data that is the present after the removal of the stop words. There is another step that needs to be followed, is the removal of stop frequent words. Once again, whenever you take the case of one particular document, it will be having a kind of chorus wherein which in the previous pre-processing step we had observed the stop words. But in this particular step, what we are concentrating upon is the stop in order to stop the frequent words which are being in use. So suppose if the same word is repeated 7 or 10 times in the same document, so we will be removing that particular word. And everything depends upon the domain that we are looking into. Suppose if there is a kind of medical domain taken into consideration, if the document is having several same item several times repeating, same word repeating for several times, that particular word will be treated as the domain specific corpus word, and then we will remove that particular word whenever we do the text pre-processing. So some of the domain specific corpus frequent words we can see here, DM, or else help, we, hi. So such kind of frequently used domain corpus words can be removed by looking into the document that we are handling. So it all depends upon the corpus that we had already aggregated, and depending upon the corpus we identify certain frequent words, we make them as a list, and we pass it that particular list to the Python program, and there the whole removal process will be taken care. Then once again there is the removal of the rare words. In the previous slide we had seen about the frequent words removal, and then in this particular step we are taking the consideration of the rare words. This is a very simple to previous pre-processing technique, wherein which whatever the word that is very rarely used in that particular document, those particular words will be removed, and then create this particular, once again we see the corpus and we see what all the words those are not matching as per the corpus. We remove that particular word, we identify and remove that particular word in the removal of rare words pre-processing. So there is another important technique or else step you can call, that is the stemming process. So stemming is the process of reducing inflected or derived words to their word stem, base or root form. So for example, suppose if the word is consisting of walk at one instance and then walking, continuous tense like walking and then walks. Likewise, if the whole document is consisting, what we can stem is, we can come to the root form or else stem or base form, wherein which we can take only WALK. Walk we can take, and then we can replace all those things, all those words, whichever is having walks, walking or other kinds of like extensions we have. So those particular things can be stemmed out, and then only the raw thing can be taken. So here example is one particular example you can once again this may be a dangerous step also, wherein which suppose if you have a word called as console and then another word consoling. Suppose if you remove and cut down to the stem, it will be coming to CONSOL, which doesn't have any meaning as itself. How to take care of these kinds of words whenever we do the stemming kind of thing, whether we have to go for the stemming or else any other technique is followed. Let us see in the next slide. So there are several types of stemming algorithms available. One of the famous algorithm that in NLP whatever we use is the Porter stemming, or else mostly English language uses the Porter stemmer kind of algorithm, wherein which it cut down to the till the root, whichever is having the basic meaning. And there are certain languages which use the different technique called as the snowball stemmer. So that is meant for some certain other regional languages and certain other foreign languages, wherein which the algorithm called as the snowball stemmer is taken care. So let us see on this particular slide, wherein which we had given one example. So the word connect is used in the document, as well as connected is used, connection is used, connections is used, and then connects is also used. So after doing the stemming kind of pre-processing, what it does is it completely wipe off the extension after the T, and then it will replace all the words with CONNECT. So this is how the complete process is taken care. If the word that is come after the stemming process is done, if it is not having any meaning in the English like language, once again a kind of another technique called as the lemmatization technique is followed. That we will see it in the next slide. So this is stemming. Once again, playing, we are arriving with the word called as play. If at all there are playing, plays, play, like such kind of words repeated in the text document, there we will replace that particular word with the PLAY, that is the root word which is giving the meaning. Then suppose if you take the case of news. So news itself is a word which is having a different kind of meaning whenever it is compared with NEW. Suppose new, news and other things are there in the same document, it should not be, we should not perform the stemming kind of thing, wherein which the complete meaning will change. News will become NEW new, and it will be replaced by new instead of news, so which doesn't have any meaning. News itself is having a different kind of meaning. So there you have to use a kind of technique called as the lemmatization technique. So lemmatization is similar to stemming in reducing the inflected words to their word stem, but it differs in the way that it makes sure the root word belongs to the language. Suppose if you are considering the English language, so it will see the whole complete dictionary whether this particular word is having the meaning whichever that the root word that is that we had arrived at. So that particular thing will be taken care, and then we have to follow whether the summary, whether the stemming is required there, or else whether the lemmatization process is required here. So you can see here two examples are illustrated. One lemmatization is CARANG care. It is coming to CARE because CAR is having a different kind of meaning. So CARE is the exact meaning. So lemmatization will, after doing the lemmatization pre-processing technique, the whole thing will be transformed into CARE instead of CARING. So in the stemming, if you take the case, it will become the CAR, which is incorrect. So instead of doing the stemming over there, it will be done as the lemmatization technique. Then there is another process which is involved in the text pre-processing, that is the removal of the emojis. So all these techniques, whatever we are following, or all these steps, whatever we are studying, this is nothing but in order to make the good quality of the, in order to enhance the quality of the document, or in order to enhance the quality of the text that is given as the input to the models. So for that reasons, we are totally doing all kinds of techniques prior ahead before it is sent as the input to the model. So with more and more uses of the social media, you can see if you are using the Facebook or Twitter or any kind of social media things, so there are certain emojis which can be expressed instead of putting a word, it can be expressed through a emoji. So with more and more usage of the social media platforms, there is explosion of the usage of the emojis. So it is conveying a message over there, whether if it is a like, whether you are sad, whether you are happy, there are certain emojis which can be replaced with the whole emotions over there. So instead of that particular emotions, we have to replace those particular things. You have to remove the emojis, and if at all they are very much conveying the meaning, or if you think that it is conveying certain value also, or else it will contribute to the insight, then you have to take the emoji into consideration and you have to convert it into equal word instead of the emoji. But here we are talking about only the removal of the emojis, which doesn't have any meaning value in the inside. Then you can remove them while doing the text pre-processing. So removal of emote icons. So emote icons are nothing but sometimes we don't have the figure over there, just like we have the emoji figures or icons present in the social media. So if at all they are not there, what we will do, we will be using the keyboard characters itself, a colon and then a curved arrow, a curved brace. So that will give you a kind of smiley. So these particular things are called as emote icons. When we work out with the keyboard, those are called as emote icons. When we directly replace with the figures itself, those are called as the emojis. So here you can see there is a minor difference between the emojis and the emote icons. Emote icon is built from the keyboard, as I had told you, certain characters instead of using the direct emoji, what we can do is we can use the keyboard like colon and then the end brace, and then we can replace it with a kind of smile. So these particular things also needs to be replaced, or else these particular things also needs to be removed if at all they are not contributing to the insight. So then conversion of emote icons to the words. Sometimes even the emote icons or the emojis may be having a place where in which they provide certain values. There we should not completely remove the emote icons or the emojis. Instead, you have to see the kind of input, and then equivalent word needs to be procured, and then it should be replaced with the equivalent word. So one way to convert the emote icons to word format so that they can be used in downstream modeling processes, that we have to identify, and we have to give that particular input in the form of a database table or something like that, where in which it directly replaces the emoji with the word itself. So likewise, just like emote icon, emoji to the word, and then removal of the URLs. So wherever the URLs, suppose if you are doing the Twitter analysis, that is the X analysis, so then there is a good chance that the tweet will have some URL in it. Mostly people will be attaching some tiny URLs along with the along with the tweet that they do. So probably we might not need, and we have to remove all those particular things whenever we do the further analysis in the text mining. So removal of the URLs also plays very important, significant part whenever we go for the text pre-processing. Likewise, HTML removal of the HTML tags also needs to be done whenever we. This is especially when it takes place is whenever we scrap the data from different websites, certain tags remains over there only. So then you have to see that those particular, whenever we consider those web pages, then we have to remove all the HTML tags before we do the text mining. So once again, chart words into conversion. Whenever we do charting, we will be using the simplified form or else the abbreviated words. Instead of putting a word, we use the abbreviation. So just like I'll show you one simple example. There are n number of examples we can give it over here, but I have taken a few. As far as I know, so AFAIK. So once again, these particular kinds of chart abbreviations needs to be replaced. So instead of putting the short form of the chart abbreviations, we have to completely likewise BTB, by the way, or BTW. So likewise, whenever you have that particular simple abbreviated words, those should be replaced with the original word, original text. Then only have to do the pre-processing. Then only have to do the text analysis or text mining. Once again, spelling correction is very much important. Suppose if you, instead of putting a spelling, if you have missed one particular character, it may disturb the TDIF value also. So you have to see whether the spellings are in the correct, whether the consistency is there in the spellings or not. That we have to see in the text pre-processing. Then there is another technique which is called as a tokenization. It is nothing but it is breaking up of the whole sentence into certain like tokens. We call, suppose in some sense, suppose if you are breaking the word, alphabets will become the tokens. Suppose if you are breaking the sentence, words will become the tokens. Likewise, you have to see the context to which level you have to break down them into a kind of like tokens. In some cases, punctuation and special characters are discarded in the processes. This also will happen whenever we do the tokenization. This is the simple example. Here, this is a sample, that is the text that is given over here, and then it is been like bifurcated, or else that is been cut down into 4 tokens. This is one token, is a token, A is a token, and then the sample is another token. So this particular process is called as a tokenization. And then very few common operations can be performed on the tokenizations, which are like finding how many words or sentences appears in the text. That is one particular operation that can be performed while doing the text analysis. Determining how many times a specific word or phrase exists. So that also can be found out. Until and unless you do the tokenizations, it can't be measured, or else the metric can't be found out. Accounting for which terms are likely to co-occur, that also. So suppose if one term is there, whenever we talk about the vowels and other kinds of things, it starts with A and an. So that particular co-occurrence also is a main factor which plays. Until and unless you do the tokenization kind of thing, these operations can't be performed. Like another simple thing is meant for most of the pre-processing, document pre-processing, that is the parts of speech tagging. So this particular thing is also called as the grammatical tagging. This is one of the most advanced text pre-processing techniques. However, this step is nothing but it augments the input text with additional information about the sentence's grammatical structure. Sometimes what it says is, in some parts of speech, in some sentence, the context may be varied. In some context, the meaning remains the same. In some context, the whole meaning may be changing. So a kind of augmentation, a kind of additional information needs to be provided whenever we take care of the parts of speech tagging, that is POS tagging, or else we can call it as the grammatical tagging. So each word there is inserted into one of the predefined categories. Suppose if it is used as certain noun or whatever the case may be, it may be conveying a different kind of meaning. So we have to see, and the additional information, like here it is used as a noun or else verb, adjective. So that such kind of additional information also needs to be provided whenever we see the thing. So the last item, glossary, we can see is the term frequency. This is nothing but how many times the term is appearing in the complete document. So term frequency is calculated as number of times the term appears in the document divided by total number of terms in the document. So this is how we will be finding out the term frequency, which is very much essential characteristic or metric that one finds whenever there are many terms. The frequency can also be calculated using the term. So here you can see this is the last slide. While working with the Python, there is one particular library called as the NLTK toolkit, called as Natural Language Toolkit. And then you have to import certain files, libraries called as, one is NLTK, and here we are importing string, and then here we are importing the regular expression also. So when doing this particular text pre-processing and other kinds of things, Python is the best language wherein one can use by having the NLTK library and the associated components, and then you can do within 4 to 5 lines you can do the kind of thing also. So this is simple remove punctuation kind of thing, or else to remove the white space. This is the simple program that we have to write using the Python. So before concluding this particular session, in this particular session we had seen the very important stage in the text mining, that is the text pre-processing. And in this session we had seen several types of steps, or else you can call them as the techniques, wherein which the text pre-processing needs to be done before it is ready for the text transformation. In the next session we will see how the text transformation needs to be done before doing it the proper text analysis. With this I conclude this particular session. Thanks for watching.